Grammy. I'll take a moment for it to come up on YouTube and Facebook. Whew.
I think I turned myself off. I know I turned my sun date on.
Now I'm trying to figure out if I did the date right.
Today is the 4th.
No, I know, but I don't know if I did the date right on that
Oh.
thing. That's good, but I can fix it later.
There I am.
Hello, Victor Palucci Comics.
Wow.
I'm sorry if I got that wrong.
That's a mouthful. Okay. Mark Fox Morgan is watching. He was the one who just sent us the picture of their toys with the Batman thing.
Cool photo.
We just looked at your photo of your shelf. It's very, very nice. Bring them on video. Oops. All right, so this is the Neal Adams show that we do on Wednesdays and Friday nights. Tonight is Wednesday night.
Hello, Leland Lucia.
And we're just loading up. So we're going to sit here for a little bit and let people load on with us. We'll find a piece of art. We'll put up a piece of art. What do I have?
What do you got?
I have Superman. You feeling Superman tonight, Steve?
Well, being as we're having the Superman coffee,
That's true.
I would say that would
We
be
are
a good
having
choice.
Superman coffee tonight.
The
Thanks.
comics coffee
Thanks
Superman
to
version.
Neal Adams, Joel Adams, because Joel sent it to us.
Joel did send it to us.
I thought DC was nice and sent us a bag of the coffee with Dad's art on it, and only to find out it was Joel.
Well, I don't think it's through DC. I think that this is comics coffee. I mean, they had to get the license to put Superman on it.
Right. So I thought maybe DC was like feeling like, oh, maybe it would be nice to send the artists of these bags of coffee a bag of coffee. Because that's what I would do. I would have like asked in my license, can I get
for it?
You know, you're putting out 10 bags of different flavors. Can I get 10 bags? And then I would send them out to each one of the art. I thought it was interesting that Dad got vanilla, right? Is Dad vanilla? Where's our coffee?
Well, it's up there. I mean, it's Superman. If you're going to do Superman, Superman's going to be vanilla.
That's so like...
stereotypical.
Yes, I
Superman.
think that's very old school thinking.
That's okay. I'll bring in the other coffees from the other show.
So we are drinking vanilla mocha coffee.
With vanilla and mocha, interesting combination.
Yes, so it's vanilla chocolate coffee.
So is that like white chocolate, which isn't really chocolate?
Could be. It's a little. There you go. It's a little sweet.
Yeah.
Did you read the use 2 tablespoons of coffee for every 8 ounces of cup of water?
Well, then it would be stronger. You were saying that this was strong coffee.
Yeah, this is pretty strong. So Z and I are right now having the vanilla mocha Neal Adams bag of coffee with Superman. That was actually sent to us by Joel Adams,
Yep.
our evil brother in California, who sent this to us 3 weeks ago.
It's been sitting on the shelf.
It's been sitting on the shelf, and I even said how nice DC was to send us this.
Yeah.
And Joel goes, hey, so did you guys get a bag of coffee with Dad's art on it? I was like, yeah, DC sent us a bag. I said, did you get a bag? He goes, no. He's like, no, I sent that bag. So I was like, oh.
Obviously, Joel put his name on the packaging or something.
I said, no, we thought DC sent that to us.
Nope, stupid us. But what brought me to making this coffee tonight was A, we didn't have any, and B, when I was at CradleCon recently, they instituted this new thing, which I love, is the coffee cart comes by for the vendors. And boy, do I love when the coffee cart comes by. It got to the point where, you know how like dogs wait for you to come home?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like behind my desk. I was like, where's the coffee cart? Where's the coffee cart? And finally he came by. And on the last day, he had a s'mores flavor.
A s'mores flavor. Well, you would like that.
Flavor.
You would
that
like
was so
Well,
good.
did you come home with some?
So, well, and the nice thing is that the people that were making that coffee, which I will bring those bags back in tomorrow, and we will have some of that coffee.
Okay.
Or maybe,
we'll do that Friday night.
We'll do it Friday. You can try the other coffee.
Okay.
Which it's that one is more of a Dungeons and Dragons gamers label on it.
Okay.
It is not a superheroes comic book coffee, but it's so good. Hey, Marilyn. But yeah, so the guy who was there representing the people that distribute that coffee, he says, yeah, you know, we're giving out to some of the vendors, and he gave me a bag of the s'mores, and I kind of, can I get another one? Because it's like I got two flavors. Like, can I get the other one too? So the other one's an amaretto.
Okay. Sarah Snyder just said, how do?
Hello,
So we're just
Sarah.
waiting for the load up. We're talking coffee because DC Comics obviously scored a license with Comics Coffee. So we decided to open the bag tonight. And now we're having coffee
And then there's even like a little cartoon on the back too.
Right, it does have comics on the back. But we're having a little coffee talk here while we're waiting for the load up. And everybody should go make themselves a cup of coffee.
The guy that was at CradleCon. So I told him, I said, you know, if you can make a coffee that tastes like it's half coffee and half hot cocoa,
then that would be Dad's coffee.
maybe we could put Dad's name on it. It could be the Neal Adams blend, Coffco.
Maybe that's what we should do. And then we could have a picture of Dad in his blue shirt.
With a coffee stain on it.
So like I said, we're just waiting to load up a little bit here. Everybody's coming on. It is the middle of the week, so I know a lot of people are still coming home from work.
Hi, Andrea. Hi, Bill.
Today definitely buzzed by. I mean, it buzzed by up here. I can't believe it's already like 10 of 8. So we're just gonna sit back for a minute more, and then we'll start the show tonight. We have prints and original art tonight because we haven't done prints in a while.
Hey, Randy.
If there's any art you've seen that you want to make sure you see tonight, just like call it out, and I'll just make sure we pull that for tonight. Hello, Randy. How are you? I want you all to know that I ate Randy's chuckles from CradleCon.
Yep.
Because Randy is always nice enough and brings Z and me a present when we show up at a show. Randy is like Dad replacement. He's like Dad. He comes off like a dad, and he definitely dads me and Z. And he came with chuckles. And I want you to know that Randy's chuckles
are nice and fresh.
Are the fresh. This is like the second time he's done that. His is the freshest chuckles I have ever eaten in my life. And I finally broke them open this weekend, and they were still like perfectly fresh.
See, I ate mine at the
So
show.
Randy, I need to know your hookup for your chuckles.
Well, then he can't then it won't be like
then he can't dad us
from us,
right? Then he can't dad us. So we have to find another convention that he's willing to go to, so I can get a new replenishment of chuckles. So Randy,
well, I hear he wants to do Baltimore. Was it Baltimore, Randy, or was it the Jersey one?
You know, I can probably work over people to get us into maybe Baltimore. Maybe.
I'd love to get into Baltimore.
I know. Anyway, so how is everybody? And a shout out to Randy for his chuckles that he saves us at every show with. And I guess how are we on Instagram over there?
We have 6 people, but you know how they come and go and come and go and come and
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
And Joel was watching a little while ago.
Right.
He didn't say anything.
Okay. So people are coming on right now. Sam Green finally came on, so now I know people are coming on.
I'm trying to decide whether I should do Garden State. It's
Where
at the
is
end of the
Garden
month.
State?
Morristown, Jersey.
It's down.
I think
No,
last
upper
time
in.
I did it, I stayed over your place.
I'm just
And
gonna
then
get a
there's-
hotel.
And then there's one up at Westchester. Westchester the weekend before that. My pal Richard Mauricio says, yeah, you'll make money at that one, but I have to get a hotel. But I have
Okay,
dental
on
work
that
to pay
note-
for.
On that note,
Dental work.
let's get there when we get there.
Everybody was all worried because I showed pictures of my allergy test. And they're like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I was like, "Yes, it's allergy."
Well, you
test."
kind of look like you had gotten stung by a beehive
did,
or
yeah.
something.
Well, they were very organized. This beehive. They
Yes, very organized.
stung in
bees.
pairs of 2.
So you know how Zia sneezes in all our shows.
Chris is trying to fix that.
Well, that didn't bother me, but when her eyes blew out and were like
yeah, well, that
hanging on her cheeks, that was like, okay, so we got to do something. So Zia went to an allergist, and now maybe we won't have her sneeze in the middle of the shows anymore.
Well, maybe I'll go back to just the one sneeze per show.
Okay, that might be fun.
Okay.
All right, so, all right, we're gonna start.
We're gonna start.
So the way
Look
this
out.
game gets played, I forgot my bombs. Oh, you know where they are? They're under the table in that bag. The way we do the show is if you see something you would like to purchase,
Or as we like to say in New York, if you see something, say something.
right? If you see something, say something. You would write that in the comment bar. I love that Superman, or you can write, I claim that Superman.
Yeah, claim is the best if you want to buy it.
If you want to buy it, the word is magically claim. If you think it's beautiful, you can say it's beautiful. But then we won't recognize that you want to buy it. So if you want to buy something, the magic words right in the comment bar would be, I'm claiming. Thanks, Steve. Let's go. I'm claiming that. We will then recognize that you're claiming it. We will blow off one of these bombs. Maybe I'll blow off a bomb. We've been starting shows with blowing off a bomb. This is what a bomb looks like. So you get one of these when you buy.
We still have to order some of the big loud ones.
Yeah. Oops. And as usual, the bomb I picked is the one that's
I think
not.
you're going the wrong way.
No, I'm going the right way. It's just the top kind of came off a little bit on this.
There we go. You got me.
Okay, so we let
Right
off
on the llama.
we open a bomb, we recognize that you bought something, and then we will ask you to make sure to give us your name, especially if you're on Instagram, your real name, an address where I'm shipping, and an email for us to then send you a PayPal invoice. And then it falls into your court. If you're buying prints have to be paid in full. If you're buying anything that has original artwork on it, the original artwork can go on a payment plan where you put down a third as your down payment and you can pay off the rest over reasonable time. And Zia apparently is staying over my house now. June 22nd, 23rd, maybe.
Let's see what I wrote down.
Maybe if you make my mini meatballs. Maybe.
Chris likes my bowls.
Zia makes really good mini meatballs.
I get teased about the size of my bowls.
Zia makes meatballs. They're like the size of a marble.
Hazelnut.
I don't know why they're a meatball, but they are. And I don't know why
It's
she
ball
makes
shaped
them.
and it's made out of meat.
I don't know why her meatballs are little. Okay. So I'm going to start.
Well, because it was originally intended to be a bolognese.
Bolognese.
A bolognese. And I just couldn't bring myself to like shred the meat that much. So I made mini meatballs.
All right, my little bolognese.
Excuse me, you like my bowls.
Do like your balls.
Thank you.
Your little mini balls. Okay, so I decided to start with this Batman print. Now, this Batman print is actually a giclée, which is a fancy print, which means we did a really good job matching the colors, matching the original art, matching everything, making Neal Adams happy. I'm actually going to take it out of plastic.
Okay.
Everything is falling apart.
Oh no!
I'm just going to hold it.
Chris has had a day today.
Okay, this is number 40 of 100. Okay, the size of this is 13 by 19. This is a gorgeous giclée.
You're gonna have to hold it.
Oops.
Yeah.
A gorgeous giclée at the bottom.
Hold on, I'm gonna refocus now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There we go. That's okay. It happens. Okay, you're good.
Okay, so at the bottom of the giclée
I'm getting there.
I know, I can see.
It's a tall glass of water. This one
Is
an original drawing by Neal Adams.
right, an original Batman down there. So that's an original drawing by Neal, signed by Neal. Now, even though this says 40 of 100, I can tell you one, Neal did not do 100 of these Batmans.
That is correct.
2, some of these Batmans actually got water damaged in our flood. So even though this is number 40, which makes you think there are 40 of these out there, I can tell you 10 of the 40 got hit by water and got destroyed.
So
which
there
means there
may
may be 30 if Neal Adams counted right. Now, I can also tell you
Dad doesn't always count.
that Dad doesn't always count right, 1. And 2, the family usually will take the first 2 or 3. So that even takes that away. So in the end, we're lucky if there's probably like 20 of these Batmans out there. when you do mathematical
It's called
equations.
Adams math.
So again, the size of this is 13 by 19. It does have a ragged edge on it. It does have a seal.
It's called a deckled edge.
A deckled edge.
For the fancy pants.
I call it ragged edge. It does have a seal. The seal is seal of authenticity. Giclée. I don't even know what that means. But that's the people who made the giclée. And like I said, that is a Neal Adams Batman original head at the bottom of this with his signature. This is my last one because the other one we looked at actually was cut weird.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually, there were no. This is my last one that has a drawing. So if you're into this, buy it because someone will be into this. And I only have one. And I can tell you this, I'm not going to find another one because these got lost in our water damage. This was not with the other prints, which is why it still exists. We are selling this for $700, which is really a nice price considering it has that Batman head on the bottom. And my senses are that this might actually go up in price after tonight as well.
This is a really gorgeous print and photo accurate to the original.
Yeah. Great color on Batman. And, you know, the other day I posted up, here are some great Batman runs by Neal Adams, and I could have put this one in there because this one is a really nice Batman run in the rain with lightning. It's obviously pouring out.
Yep, he's running in the rain where there's lightning in a puddle.
So really nice giclée.
As he's late for the
I would say Happy. This would be a perfect piece for Happy. I don't think Happy's on with us tonight, but it is $700 for those people who might be interested and are sitting back to see what else Chris has tonight. I'm going to put it over there. I'm going to move my coffee. All right. So second up is I still have the Canadian Superman stamps. Now we sell this for $300. Comes with a print. This is all made by DC Comics. The print is from DC. These stamps obviously are from the Canadian Post Office, but they obviously made a deal with DC Comics to do Superman. So one of the stamps represents Neal's Superman.
The middle stamp.
The middle stamp, Breaking Chains. So Neal has signed the print as well as Neal has signed the stamps. And we sell this for $300. And this is 4 of 100. So this is a nice low number. And there probably were 100 of these made. This is number 4 of 100. We sell this for $300. I will say these frame up nicely. I never did it with Superman, but I have done it with the Green Lantern stamps. And I put a nice green frame, metallic green frame around it, and had the mat cut for the stamps from the print. And it hangs in my bedroom, and it's really a nice setup. And then I made one for continuity, and it got water damaged.
Of course.
So $300 for these Superman print. That goes with these Superman's Canadian stamps. Just want to put that out. Canadian postage, correct. And that it is signed by Neal on the print as well as on the stamps. So even if you wanted to just hang the stamps on the wall, you will have a Neal Adams signature on them. $300. Okay, next print up is $100. This is the Green Lanterns from a New York Comic-Con poster that Neal designed for the convention. It has a number of Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan,
The Lantern Corps.
John Stewart. They're all there.
Kilowog in the background.
Right. So this is $100 to buy. The size of this is 13 by 19, and this is signed by Neal. So $100. Again, if you've just come on with us, if you would like to purchase something, say I claim in the comment bar. We'll see you there and react to it. So nice John Stewart, nice Hal Jordan there. All Green Lanterns by Neal, signed print. Okay, we have Joker. Now Joker is $100. This is not signed by Neal, so this would get it's an authenticity sticker that we put on the back of the print, but it has Neal's signature in a hologram, and that is only given from Continuity or Neal Adams Studio. Is the only place you can get that. So it is a very good certificate. It's actually better in some ways than the certificate of authenticity that we make, because you could probably make those if you wanted. The hologram sticker is much harder to have somebody replicate. This is Bloody Hands Joker. This was a cover for DC. And again, its size is 13 by 19. It is $100 to buy. Unfortunately, it is not signed by Neal, but we'll get the sticker for free that goes along with it in that $100 price. So nice. I don't think I would hang that in my bedroom. It's a little creepy.
Depends on what you're into, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. Next one is Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy is 13 by 19. And it's not too often that Neal draws Poison Ivy.
She's flopping back a little bit.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, now I could probably use this.
Yeah.
It wasn't good on the big one.
No. That'll do.
Yeah, it's got the glare off of it.
No, but I mean, you can tell that it's okay. You're right.
Okay, so Poison Ivy is 13 by 19. This is a piece that was colored by Corey Adams. Art is Neal Adams. It is signed by Neal at the bottom. And again, Neal does not do Poison Ivy that often, so this is one of those rare Poison Ivy pieces. This is also a piece that we never really ran through the conventions.
Mm-hmm.
This is a piece that we actually really just sell on our show. And there weren't many made of this one, so I just want to put that out there. So if you're into Poison Ivy, nice Poison Ivy piece by Neal. For 100.
I wonder if I could pull off a Poison Ivy voodoo doll. Can you make a voodoo doll sexy?
I don't know. That's your category. I would love to see a voodoo doll flower. I mean, maybe make her a sexy Poison Ivy and then have voodoo doll flowers around her.
And you can have like little flower pots with like violets, angry violets.
Yeah, I would do like angry flowers.
Or maybe the Corona carnation. Maybe that's where the Corona carnation comes from.
Could be.
He gets it from.
It's interesting. Pete and I were talking last night because I actually started reading. It was the Detective 1000, so it's the whole book.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized how much I really love Scott Snyder. Now I'm going to be a Scott Snyder fan. Scott Snyder's writing, and I like his writing because he brings in a lot of science.
Mm-hmm.
That I mean, if I ever were to run into him, like I've met him, but you're always like meeting him with Dad, so it's always like Dad's always.
It's all about
talking.
Dad, and you're just in the background,
right? So, it's also like they're talking to Dad, so you don't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
And but I always wanted to know, like, does he have like some kind of science degree? Because from the first book I ever read of Scott Snyder's, which was a Swamp Thing, when they were doing like the original rebirth of characters at DC, I loved his Swamp Thing because he brought science into his Swamp Thing.
Mm.
And then he brought science into these, like the first two stories in Detective 1000 are Scott Snyder stories with Greg Capullo art.
He's a boy that does his homework.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. He doesn't do, like, he's not big in action. I was actually sitting in my bathtub.
So he's more cerebral.
Yeah, he's very cerebral. And I'm like, damn, why didn't I ever get Dad to work with Scott Snyder? And I'm like beating myself up. And then I went, wait a minute. But Scott doesn't do a lot of big action. And Dad would die because there's not big action. But it might have been interesting because Dad would just be like, damn it, I'm doing some action. I'm going to
Well, Dad would make the talky bits, the cerebral stuff, interesting cinematography wise.
Yes. But he's just different. It would have been interesting but hard for both of them, I think.
It would be a challenge.
But where was it going with this? But he did a story. It was Poison Ivy. He did a story where you think it's Poison Ivy because there's this like flower thing that's killing Gotham City,
Mm-hmm.
and it ended up in the end not being Poison Ivy. But like they set up Poison Ivy to be like it's her,
Yeah.
and it wasn't.
Mm.
But I think Scott Snyder is one of like the best writers out there, which I may be shocked for that. Which I already have a lot of bullet holes, so it'll just go through the bullet holes I already wear.
As you live with a writer.
Right. Well, but Pete and I were talking about Scott Snyder last night, and even Pete had to admit that, like, yeah, he does. And I'm like, why don't they let him write some shit in the movies? So anyway, I'm currently in Scott Snyder's corner right now. And Scott, if you want to talk to me, you can call me at Continuity 212-869-4170.
Okay, somebody share this with Scott Snyder.
Say, Chris was crushing on you. Anyway, so this is 13 by 19. We're back to Neal Adams now. I'm done with my little Scott Snyder foray.
I'm crushing on my allergy doctor.
Okay. So this is a Star Wars piece that Neal did. This actually did get, this is the published one, with Kylo Ren, 13 by 19. This is, I don't know if these are signed. Hold on a second. Okay, these are not signed. So again, this would get the hologram that has the rainbow signature by Neal. It is 100 to buy, 13 by 19.
Okay, we have a question from Matt's Collectibles on Instagram. He says, "Hey there, any Rocketeer art available?" Do you even have any of that stuff that did?
I believe we do have Rocketeer originals. I think. Sorry.
Okay, Matt's Collectibles, what I recommend then, if you could DM us on this page and ask that, say that you're the person looking for Rocketeer art. We don't have it like easily handy.
Well, let me say, the Rocketeer art the family really likes.
Yeah.
So that the Rocketeer art, if we were to sell it, which I don't know if that's available for sale, and I'm not 100% sure we have all of it, some of it. I know I've seen, and maybe it was Xeroxes I saw, so I'm not even 100% sure. But it would be very high priced because I know there are certain family members that really love that it would take a lot for them to part with that. So I don't know if it's available. But direct message, because I always will check it out with the parties, and I'll check out if we actually have originals or not. And, you know, I'm not the mouth of everyone in the family.
Right.
So, okay. So back to Kylo Ren, 13 by 19, $100. It comes with the hologram signature because Neal did not sign these prints. We have definitely hit prints now where Neal has not signed them. We're at the very end of prints that Neal has signed. So there we go. 13 by 19. Kylo Ren. All right, I may be down to my last one of this. This is the recreation pencil that Neal did a while back of the piece that he did for a convention that everybody fell in love with. It has Spectre, Deadman, Batman. Very early Neal Adams on here. Green Lantern is on here. Green Arrow is on here. It is my last one that is signed by Neal. It is 13 by 19. It is $100 to buy. Last one, baby. Unless somebody doesn't buy one, then I may have another one, but this should be it on this one. So 100 for this famous piece that a lot of people love. Really nice pencil work by Neal. Again, it is a recreation from the first one that he did, but even this recreation is probably a good 20 years old at this point. It is signed by Neal. It is probably my last one. $100 for this. Chris has a thing for writers. Yeah,
Chris has a thing for people with brains.
Writers,
but she also has a thing for people
usually
that
not
are
as
goofy.
obnoxious as artists. Ooh, Chris is really going to be in trouble tomorrow.
I beg to differ on certain writers, but okay.
Who is it? Oh, Chris Claremont is an obnoxious writer.
Those words did not come out of my mouth.
But Chris knows that, so it's okay. So, 13 by 19, another famous Neal Adams piece. I'm really going to be in trouble tomorrow.
Do you want some water?
I can use some water.
Yeah.
13 by 19. This is the classic DC versus Marvel. And Atomic Mouse is holding back both sides. This was a Sal Cortuccio cover. And yes, we call it Adams Mouse, even though it's Atomic Mouse. And Zia said that she drew an Adams Mouse at the Forest Hills convention.
Yeah, it was the Forest Hills Convention at Forest Hills High School, and it was Michael Feldman commissioned that one.
Ah, nice. So this is $100. This is signed by Neal. And I have a feeling this may be my last one that is signed by Neal as well. $100 to buy.
And I did Frankenstein Jr. for Randy.
You did. And I thought that was really cute. And I bet he was surprised that's who you picked.
He was.
Yeah. Where did that come from, Randy? 13 by 19. This is Neal's Detective 1000, which was the book we were just talking about. Whereas the first two stories were written by Scott Snyder. And I thought both stories were amazing stories. This is signed by Neal at the bottom. And it is 13 by 19. It is 100 to buy. Coloring on this is
Tim and I may have kissed it a bit.
I thought you did the rain effect.
I did do the green effect.
Duh.
But I think
I remember
I did a couple of other
sitting
things.
in that goddamn editing room with you and Dad and raining for hours.
I know. I know.
And I want you to know that as
have
nice
touched
as the
a couple
coloring
other bits.
may be on this, yes, Dad wants rock on gargoyle. Getting rain on pieces with Neal Adams it's a 3-hour, oh my God, experience, because this was digitally colored. The rain was done digitally by Zia. And Neal is very particular.
I'm gonna zoom in on some of that rain.
Neal is very particular on how he likes his rain, how his rain patterns work. And there have been many nights of continuity that you just want to take your head and bash it into the wall while you're waiting for a piece that you have to get to DC Comics in the next 5 minutes, and 3 hours have gone by while your sister is trying to get the rain right.
I'm amazed I still have hair left.
But look at that puddle action on those muscles there, guys. Pretty cool. So this is $100 to buy. This is signed by Neal at the bottom. This is this was like our normal cover on the Detective 1000s that we did variant covers on.
D, I have to make an appointment with you. My pal D.
Okay. Next up is...
She calls me Mika, and I love it. She can call me Mika all day.
This is our Civil War cover, 13 by 19. It actually was the first variant cover we did as a company, a continuity with Marvel. And this was, I think, the first time they did Civil War, because they did many Civil Wars at Marvel. But Civil War was a really big series from Marvel. And this is $100 to buy, 13 by 19, and it is signed by Neal.
Randy, I have to tell you, the list that you gave me to choose from, I wanted to do all of them, and I even gave you a couple of more suggestions to add to your list that I want to do. So I ended up having to call Chris, because Chris can narrow it down for me when I can't make a decision.
I actually wanted her to do Astro Boy.
That's what you said on the phone.
Yeah, it is. I made Astro Boy the top. I wanted to see what you would do with Astro Boy myself.
Yeah, but then you said, I don't want you to do Frankenstein Jr. because then I'd want to keep it.
I did say that too.
Thank you. So to me, that means do this one.
Oh, usually my first one is the first one. So
I'm still happy with what I did.
I like Frankenstein Jr., so that's fine. Okay, 13 by 19.
But thank you, Randy. That's quite a compliment.
I did find a swamp that is signed by Neal.
Oh, it is. He just used really thin pen.
I have had many swamp prints that have gone out with Neal Adams no signatures
It's
with the hologram
camouflage.
background. I did find a swamp that has a Neal Adams signature. I was like, wait a minute, this one is signed. There's Neal's gold stupid marker.
It was very well camouflaged.
It was. So this is 13 by 19. This one is signed by Neal. I don't know how that happened. I think we may have opened an older box of prints. $100 to buy it, 13 by 19.
I would be happy to, Randy.
So nice swamp monsters. This is one of the painted covers that Neal did for Marvel when Marvel put out painted covers for their magazine size comics that they were doing. Which was probably because of newsstand and trying to see if newsstands would treat them better if they went out at magazine size. So
I kind of want to do Snidely and Muttley.
Snidely, Muttley. Okay.
Because you remember
This
when
is
Sneasley's pet name was Snidely Whiplash?
I know. Okay, 13 by 19. This is another Detective 1000 cover.
This is the villains cover.
This is the villains variant cover that Continuity Neal Adams did. 13 by 19. It is signed by Neal, $100.
Jason has joined us.
You see that? Excuse me. 13 by 19 is the size, $100. Signed by Neal at the bottom. Neal Adams art, obviously.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Okay. I found one more of these, which this is the pencil to one of the covers of Batman Odyssey. This is one of those finished rendered pencils by Neal of Batman getting hit by bullets. This is 13 by 19. It is signed by Neal. It is $100, and I believe this is my last one on this one.
It's amazing how Batman's cape can be so protective and yet so light and blowing in the windy kind of.
Yeah, sometimes Batman's cape seems very heavy.
Yeah,
and at other times it seems very light.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, sorry. Dick Dastardly was with Muttley. Snidely Whiplash was Dudley Do-Right. Oh, okay. I get those two.
Snidely Whiplash was with Dudley Do-Right.
Okay.
That is
Dick
true.
Dastardly. Okay, well, I want to do all four.
Dick Dastardly is the guy that has the beret and he's very skinny.
Okay.
And wears a purple trench coat, if I remember right.
I just know when I have a giggle fit, I sound like Muttley.
Yes. Well, everybody loves Muttley. If you need to draw Muttley, I have a sketch in Muttley too.
Okay.
Because I
may just have to do a Muttley just to do a
took a
Muttley.
picture of my Frankenstein Jr. and sent that to Zia. With all its dust
Yes.
on it. It was very
A
dusty.
layer of dust, yes.
It had not come down all that
I'm
much
not sure I can get the correct color off of this,
in
Chris.
a long, long time. Okay. This is the layout from one of the House of Mystery Pan pages. This comes from Chris's private collection. This is not signed by Neal because I pulled this from my private collection. Because I noticed it's like the fancy buzzword.
Yes.
This is on 11/17 because it looks shorter than 13 by 18.
And you actually have a nice little watercolor of that.
Can I have a watercolor of this?
Yes. I made it for you.
Yes, I do. If that's what you're talking
Yes.
about. Yes, I do. This is $100 to buy. This would have a hologram Neal Adams signature on it because, like I said, this was something I made for the show during the last couple of weeks. So we have a couple of these. I made a couple of these.
Oh, Sarah says she just reread that Pan story. It is so
Yes, it is.
good.
I forget who wrote that story because it's not written by Neal. It's written by somebody else. So,
Well, as dramatic as Chris's story is, my story scares the hell out of Superman.
that is true. But Sarah, since you just reread that, so there's a page in there where she's kind of like in a mushroomy garden, and there's a little fairy that has big kind of bushy hair, and she's sitting on a mushroom.
It's like a big beehive hair.
Yeah, that is what Zia's name came from. Was that character is Z, that was in the kids' book that my dad bought because he loved the artwork of the artist.
Artwork is pretty.
The artist who did it, and that's where Z got her name.
Now, just to warn you, when you go on the internet in like 10 minutes to look up that book, it is not the reprint where she's got purple hair. No. Got to go to the original printing, which you can still find the
Yeah,
books.
but they don't know who it is, so they're not going to go there. So.
Sarah will text me later, I guarantee it.
But if you look in the comic book, like I said, Neal redrew it, and that's where Z comes from. So now see, Sarah's going to look now. I bet she looks right now. Okay, so there's the Pan piece, 1117. Again, it is not signed by Neal, but we can do the sticker of authenticity that has Neal's signature on it, and we stick that on the back so it doesn't interfere with the front of your print. Okay. Now I have whoa. Okay, I have a Thor print, 13 by 19, signed by Neal for 100. And this I brought out because we have a Thor pencil rough of this that Neal did in order to make this. So basically, Thor, this is the print that Neal did from that pencil that we have up. And this Thor is signed by Neal.
Wow. There's one place that's selling the book for $328.
There you go.
Dang.
Oops. My Thor just hit the floor. Okay, next piece up is a Green Lantern Green Arrow, 13 by 19. This is not a signed print. This would get the hologram sticker with Neal Adams' signature on it that only Continuity has. Hello, Jim Hackett. This is $100 to buy with the hologram sticker. Gorgeous piece of the face-off. If you love the series this is the epitome of that series. Green Lantern, Green Arrow pulling on each other's clothes and getting in each other's face. From the Hard Traveling Heroes series, which was also a great series, written by Denny.
Mushroom Gallows a trip.
Yep. Well, actually, it's a combination from two different books. One, which is named Hatsinda,
by the same writer.
And the other one...
Actually, the same illustrator.
And the other one with Z. So it's two different books by the same illustrator that Neal thought the world of, who does gorgeous watercolor artwork. Because as a kid, in that, since Chris seems to dig writers, and I have dated a couple of writers, I will say that they look at I have a big shelf of all my children's books, and they go like, you don't have any normal children's books. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, Like you don't have normal books that every kid reads. You have like this weird, and always have to say that my parents bought books not based on normalcy, but based on good art. So
Our parents are art snobs.
right. All of my children's books
On the other hand, I will
based
say
on good
Z
artists.
is a good story, though.
It's a little long. It gets a little long.
Maybe. I will grant you that. And the only other thing that I don't like about that book is that the little girl changes Z's name.
Yes, I know. But, I mean, at least that was interesting. There are parts of that book where it gets a little dry. So, 13 by 19.
Yes, but I do appreciate every time she takes out her vengeance.
13 by 19, Wonder Woman. This is a finished pencil.
Sam, we all have your children's books.
Chris has my children's book. Chris does have Sam Green's children's book. But did Neal pick it, Sam? There's the true question. So 13 by 19, Wonder Woman. This is a finished pencil render print by Neal. I don't know. Is this one signed?
Yes, it is.
Signed by Neal. 13 by 19. $100. Gorgeous print. Gorgeous artwork. Very pretty woman. Okay, next up is Harley Quinn and her hammer. Now, this is actually based on a piece that we did as, I believe, a commission.
It was a commission, and then I forget whether Dad drew it on this. I think Dad drew it on the sketch cover, and I colored it. I think.
Maybe we should send this one to DC. Anyway, Harley Quinn, 13 by 19. This is not signed by Neal. This would get the hologram sticker for $100.
Well, that's why she's got the Suicide Squad hair and the comic book almost sort of costume.
Yeah.
Because it was a commission.
13 by 19, $100 to buy.
It says, I will send you my next one, too.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to Scott Snyder since none of you are really talking to him. So do you guys like Scott Snyder's rating? Or am I the only one in the house? Or does nobody read comics? Which, I mean, that's a given. I have children's books that I don't read, but I like the art. Okay, this is the famous Batman 241 cover that everybody seems to love. This we sell for $100. Again, it is not signed, so it would get the Neal Adams hologram sticker. The size of this is 13 by 19. And I think the reason why everybody loves this one is because he looks like a bat.
Mm-hmm.
For a bat.
Oft homaged by other artists.
Yes, this has been homaged a number of times.
Well, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. So $100 for Batman 241. Oh, things are falling tonight.
It's like I told you the other day when I was having my allergies and my eyes were exploding. I said, honey, I'm sorry I'm a train wreck. And she goes, you're not a train wreck, Mom. You're more like a cute car accident.
Okay, next one up is 13 by 19. The Ra's al Ghul cover. So I would question, made this, because supposedly the Neal Adams IDW gallery book has fold-outs. Now, I don't know if this is one of the fold-outs, but this would make a nice fold-out. I don't know if they got the pencil and ink of this to put in that book, but this would be a great fold out piece if they did.
Well, wouldn't it be two separate images if they did?
And he did it on one. I don't know if he did it on both. So I don't know. So this is $100. This is signed by Neal. This is a signed piece. 13 by 19 is the size. The famous Ras Al Ghul. Oh my God, Robin is dead. Ah!
Because I thought the texture that's in the background was something that the printer.
I know that Dad did
the printer had.
the first one in two pieces. I don't know if he did this one in two pieces. And Sam Green bought this comic when it came out, and Neal signed it for him. Nice. So, Batman Ras Al Ghul, 13 by 19, $100, signed by Neal.
I had to look to see what the CC type said, and it said Roswell Gould or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I know. It really messes up a lot of stuff. I'm going to hop some of my prints. We just haven't done prints in about 3 weeks, so I figured let's go back to some prints. This is actually a recreation of Neal's original one. Here's Neal's original one if you want to see what he did.
On coffee.
On coffee. And here is a recreation of that.
Updated version.
Updated with a much more handsome Superman. This is 13 by 19. I believe this is signed by Neal.
Yes, and silver on the bottom.
And it's really a fun piece. I also know this really frames up nicely. And 13 by 19. So Sam Green not only bought this comic and had it signed by Neal, but he had to buy it with my brother because our allowances were only $2 each back then. So did you have to like cut the comic in half and he's got like the back end and you have the front end? Or does he have like a Batman and you got?
Or do you have to share it?
Yeah, does it spend 6 months at your house and 6 months at his house?
Do you have joint custody of the comic book?
I mean, I remember when you used to roll comics and stick them in your pockets. So.
Yep, and you trade them.
Yeah, like I can't tell you how many baseball cards. You know, I'm going to sound like the rest of you now. How many baseball cards I had in a lunchbox that I would flip in the schoolyard. That is worth tons of money now. So. But I don't have them anymore. And even if I had them, they'd be in such ratty condition at this point.
Sam says, no, I got the comic signed and gifted to his kids.
Nice. Okay, 13 by 19. Ninja Turtles. So this is a Ninja Turtles and Batman crossover that DC and IDW did together. This is a painted piece that Neal did as a cover.
Hold on, I'm going to do a quick preemptive. Hi, Gustavo.
And the size of this is 13 by 19, and Neal has signed these in a green marker.
Beat you to it, Gustavo.
$100, excuse me, to buy. Ninja Turtles and Batman. Here's an interesting one. Why is this interesting? Because it's penciled by Neal and actually inked by Frank Miller. It is probably the one and only time, well, it is the one and only time that Frank and Neal actually worked on a piece together. So this is 13 by 19. This is part of the 27 covers that Neal did in a month, a little over a month actually. And this one Neal penciled and Frank Miller inked, which was an interesting foray into a really non-person you would ever think would ink Neal.
Mm.
This one is signed by Neal, and it is $100 to buy. Flash.
He actually, you know how Dad did that sort of cross between Miller and himself for that Batman?
Mm.
This is like a cross between Miller and Dad.
Yeah.
Because he put more detail than he would normally do for his own stuff, but less detail than Dad does.
Right. Well,
so it's sort of like a cross.
It's interesting because, like, you know, Frank has said that he really puts down. And what was interesting was there was a time where Dad did, when Frank did that coming, I was going to say coming to the Superman, that's Dad, but the Superman Year One. And Dad had taken one of Frank's covers and redid it. But he did it following what Frank does. Then he came in, he threw the piece of art at me, flink.
The way he flicks art.
And he said, now I understand Frank. I'm like, okay, cryptic. You know, what are you talking about, Dad? And he's like, Frank only puts down the lines that are necessary to put down. I understand him now. And then, of course, Neal had added more lines than Frank had on
he can't help
his.
himself.
But again, it had less lines than Dad would normally do.
So it was a cross between the two styles.
Right. So, and recently, somewhere, I saw Frank say that he actually puts down the lines that are really necessary and doesn't put down all the lines, which is very different than Dad. You know, Dad definitely comes in a way different door than Frank. So it was interesting. And basically, this was actually one of the first pieces Frank worked on after Frank had kind of come back.
And Wayne Masso on YouTube is saying, I believe Frank inked the original because I saw the inked original at a show.
Ooh.
So he didn't ink on a blue line?
No, Frank would never ink on a blue line.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So, in any case, this is Flash, pencil Neal, ink is Frank Miller. This one is signed by Neal.
Hey, Tim.
All right, I'm gonna move through some stuff here. I'm gonna put up Spider-Man because we've been very DC centric tonight. 13 by 19, one of the few Spider-Man covers that Neal did. It is 13 by 19. It is signed by Neal. $100 to buy. I'm going to do 2 more prints, and then we're going to move on to artwork. Unless you guys want to do something else. Put Spider-Man down. Okay, next one up is Joker #1. So this is Neal doing, it's a variant cover that he did, and they wanted us to change positions of Batman and Joker from the 251. So now you have Batman holding Joker on a card. This is signed by Neal, and it is $100 to buy. It is 13 by 19. Print. So anybody who's new that has come on, if you're interested in a piece, you would just say that in the comment bar. I am claiming Spider-Man, I am claiming Joker, I'm claiming whatever you may be claiming would be in the comment bar. We will then see it there, recognize that you're interested in buying a piece, and then we'll tell you the next moves from there. Okay. And my last print for the night will be the reverse effect of that print. Now this is actually a Giclée that we made of 251 with Joker and Batman in the correct positions. This is signed by Neal. $100 to buy. Famous cover. This is actually one of the covers of our IDW Neal Adams gallery book. I was supposed to say Galaxy book. gallery book by Neal.
Only a black and white.
In black and white, correct. Because it's a black and white book, which has a black and white cover because it's all based on the original art. Well, the scans come from the original art in those books. Hence why everybody loves them. Okay, so that is my print section of the night. And we could move on. I also just want to pull this out one more time because it is gorgeous. And I only have one of these left because, like I said, most of these actually got damaged in our water flood downstairs. This just was in a different place. So this is large, actually.
Yeah, it's bigger than 13 by
Yeah,
19. It's
so
13 by 20?
21. 13 by 21, maybe. It has the
Deckled edge.
deckled edge. Thank you, Z. It has an authenticity seal at the bottom of it. And it has an original Batman drawing by Neal. So it is a nice print giclée of Batman running with a nice head cowl, original drawing at the bottom. This is $700 to buy. And there's probably only 20 of these made, even though you will see this is one of 40 or whatever this is. There were not 40 of these done. And I would say at least 10 of these got destroyed in our flood downstairs, which if you've watched our show, you're very aware that we've had floods at continuity. But the big flood took out about 10 of these, I want to say like 3.5 years ago. And it's a really nice giclée print. $700.
Colored by Dad as well.
Yeah, $700, and this has an original Batman drawing at the bottom of it. So very nice pieces here. Okay, so if anyone is interested in a print, now you should mention it because I'm going to put the prints kind of to the side, and they're kind of hard to dig out once we get past them.
And a little slippery sometimes.
It's like fish because most of these are kept in plastic so that they don't get wrecked, especially since this is like the end of signatured prints by Neal. All right, so if anybody is interested in a print, you should say something now. I really think the Batman running with the Batman drawing on it, the original Batman drawing on it, definitely a worthwhile buy. And it's at a good price of $700. Anybody?
I'm hearing a lot of crickets. What else is everybody watching tonight?
Yeah,
What are we up
they're
against?
talking. I just think.
I got 20 viewers.
Yeah. Okay. Things are going to the
Hunter
side.
Krampus says, "Hi, just got here. What goodies did I miss? You missed the prints." The coolest thing that you missed and the most rare is the oversized Batman giclée with a original head sketch at the bottom of it for $700. If you are curious about it, we can show that again. Otherwise, you can view this again after the show. We do post all of our shows on the apps that we're shooting them on, so you can review any of the artwork at any time.
Okay, so this is our pan and scan section of the show. So if you want to see really good close-ups of these pieces of art, I suggest you go over to Neal Adams' Facebook, which is the Neal Adams Comic Artist on Facebook, or YouTube, which has no, it doesn't have that. It has nealadams.com, and the dot is spelled D-O-T. So it's NEALADAMS.com. And Zia's going to pull up a pan and scan of this piece. If this is a newer piece, we just added in I think this isn't the newer piece. This is the older piece. So this is obviously a really nice piece. I believe this was done for licensing, actually. This is Batman and Robin. The size of this is 11/14. This is pencil and ink Neal. This is originals now. Nice.
Considering which Batman and which Robin this is, I'm not sure if he didn't take the design that he intended for the licensing, but he just did it with.
Yeah, he did a lot of that. He took a lot of his licensing stuff and redid it. So this is 3,000.
Because this is a Batman with the yellow
Mm-hmm.
circle around it.
Right. And it's Robin with ninja boots, which Dad always puts ninja boots on Robin. So Batman and Robin coming through Gotham. This is 3,000 to buy. Now, since we are into original art, this is where you can put a third down as your down payment and pay off the remaining balance over time, as long as you make monthly payments of some kind, and that could be any increment of money. We don't charge penalties or interest, and when it's all paid off, we then ship it out. So Batman and Robin here is 3,011/14. And you'll see our prices are high on certain pieces, lower on other pieces. So just because this is high doesn't mean that all of the original art is high. Pieces go up and down through the pile that we have here. This is the newer piece that we just put in for 2,800. This is more of a pencil by Neal that he then will either blow up on a light box, trace it over for whatever he's drawing. This was a print that we also did at shows in the very beginning of doing shows, actually. This is an older piece. Again, Batman and Robin, 2,800. And the size of this is about 11/14.
There it is. Sorry, give me a second for it to come up.
I'm going to take a water break.
Take a water break.
And Zia's pulling up that pan, right? Yes, there we go. So that you guys can see it better. So Robin's in the back and Batman's coming forward. Forced perspective going on there. 2,800 to buy. And nice signature piece by Neal. 2,800 is the price on this. 11/14 is the size of it. Very nice, tight pencil.
Yeah, Andrea, we just leave it playing in the background. I know y'all probably missed the themed music that went with each piece, but I have quite a few electronics to handle.
Yep. what? Rich Cirilla, Rock on the Table.
Mhm.
So 1117, Fantastic Four. This is 2300. This is pen and ink Neal. Color on this is Tim Shin. This is original art that has been colored. The black and white line art has been colored. It is signed by Neal. This is the Fantastic Four fighting the coronavirus. We should sell this to Dr. Fauci. 2300 is the price on this.
Hunter is asking, do you have anything Neal might have done with Manhunter? Martian Manhunter. There's the cover.
I'm just thinking. I don't think so.
Did the cover go?
The one that Brian Mullen inked? I don't know. I would have to check that out, Hunter. What Z and I are talking about is in the 27 covers, there is a Martian Manhunter one that actually Brian Boland inked, but what we have is Neal's pencil because Brian Boland inked it on a blue line, or actually, I believe he inked it digitally. So that what we have is a pencil of that. I don't know if we still have it. I don't know if that's been sold or we have it. So if you're really interested in it, send us a direct message and I will try and find where that original is if it has not been sold.
So if I remember correctly, that part of that cover never got inked. Because it does that Ra's al Ghul thing. So I don't think it got inked. It had that Ra's al Ghul effect. So I think that was only pencil. The other characters were inked, but I think Manhunter was only pencil.
Could be. So I will have to locate it. So like I said, if you're interested, direct message us. But it would be the 27 cover one. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. Okay, next one up is a very large Joker and Harley Quinn. We call this the Big Boom because it has one of those Neal Adams explosions on it. This is a large piece by Neal, 1117 of Joker and Harley. It is a signed piece by Neal, pen and ink Neal. Color on this is Zia. It is 3,800 to buy. Joker with his famous Joker card and Harley Quinn. With a definite Neal Adams face on that Harley Quinn. So again, this is a large piece, 1117. This is an original that has been colored on.
Wayne Masato says Brian hasn't penciled or inked an actual art paper in decades. All of his work is done digitally.
Yes. Crazy Man cover we have is inked.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was officially decades ago, so.
Okay.
That's such a long time ago.
Somebody had asked me about this one again, so I did pull this back out again. This is a camel ad that we did back when Blade Runner was the big movie that everybody was talking about. It is 1800. This is pencil and ink, and I believe this was colored by Neal, because Neal did a lot of the coloring of our camel work, mostly because it was a lot of weekend work, actually. So a lot of work Neal did color himself. And this is a time period where we actually still were coloring the original art. So this is Neal's original pen and ink that has been colored by Neal for Camel cigarettes. It was during the time period of Blade Runner in the 80s. And it is 1800 to buy. And I believe it is signed by Neal.
Yes, bottom left hand corner.
Yeah. Ouch. Ugh.
Oh, Gimpy McGee.
If I sit for too long, it really gives. So, and I realized I forgot my tape measure. Ouch! Because then they asked me, what is the size of this press? So this is like 17 by like 9.5. And this would be a billboard. Generally, what is why we would do it this size is because this would be taken, presented to the client, and then probably made into a billboard if the client really liked it. I don't know if that happened on this. So 1800 is the price on this piece. It's really interesting. The window has like an outside world. It's kind of sci-fi.
That's a very interesting yet chafy way of holding his pants up, though. That's gotta chafe.
Is that the jacket that's doing that?
Well, it kind of goes. I don't know.
Or is it a gun thing? I
think
can't see
I think
from
it's a
what
gun
I'm
thing.
looking at.
I think it's a gun thing.
Is it a gun? Does he have a
Yeah,
gun?
because it's got like a holster on the side. It's just it goes.
Oh, it is where it kind of
It goes to his unmentionables.
Yeah, but it's not part of his jacket, I don't think.
No, I think it's part of his holster.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't quite know why he has a holster though.
Guns and cigarettes, yeah.
Well, it might not be a gun. I mean, it's futuristic. It could be a tool that he uses on his robot. I'm just saying.
It's a laser gun.
It doesn't look comfortable.
It's a laser gun. 1800. Blade Runner. Camel cigarettes. Alright, because we're getting late. Let's move it down a little bit in this pile.
Oh, of course, because I actually pulled up that one.
Which one? Oh, the Superman? We could do Superman if you pulled it up, Jake.
You
I'll pull Superman out.
Okay. He's so pretty, though.
Okay, Superman is 8.5 by 11. Gorgeous piece of art. Pen and
Show me
ink.
the one you were going to bring up. Oh, it's behind it.
It's bad, yeah. The new piece from the animation we did. So Superman is 8.5 by 11. Pen and ink Superman figure is Neal. The background, which was not inked by Neal, but was created by Zia in color. And Zia did, obviously, the color on the Superman. Clark Kent changing into Superman. Really nice, beautiful piece. Can be beautifully framed. 2,600. This piece would rock in anybody's collection or on anybody's wall, for sure.
28?
26. 2,600. This would be a piece that I would buy for those people who follow that. This is really a solid piece of art. Solid in color, solid in pen and ink.
Thank you, Dee. That's all marker in the background, too. There's no ink. He's so pretty.
Yes. Okay. Next one is Batman. Now this is a Batman piece that is also 8.5 by 11. This is stylized from Moon of the Wolf. This is $700 to buy. It is pen and ink Neal, signed by Neal. And this was done for the motion comic animation we were doing as a sample to show to DC and obviously Marvel. Marvel jumped on us faster than DC, and we ended up getting the Astonishing X-Men for the work we did on this Batman project that we did internally. So this is $700 to buy. Again, this stylistically matches Neal's style from Moon of the Wolf. It is 8.5 by 11, pen and ink Neal, signed by Neal, for $700. And I'm sure if you pull out your Moon of the Wolf comic, this Batman probably exists in it somewhere. Unless Neal did this as a go-between to get us somewhere. That's a possibility. I didn't think about it until just now. So it's either in the book or it may not be in the book, and it may be just we needed this in order to make Batman travel from somewhere to somewhere.
Well, I will also say this is one of the rare times that we have Batman smiling.
Yeah. But it's also a much smaller emblem Batman. This is definitely from the 70s Batman. So a nice pen and ink work by Neal, Batman. Then I have a Wolverine. That is pencil and ink Neal. Again, this was used as, I wish I had a copy. Maybe I'll ask Jason when he comes back. We did this as a frame. We sold a trading card that we stuck within a frame. And the frame had this original Wolverine drawn on them. This is the original Wolverine that Neal designed to be used on all of those drawings. So this is $600 to buy. It is Wolverine by Neal. And he's ferocious because in the card, he also is pretty ferocious. So it kind of matches the card art that Neal did for a trading card for Marvel. This is $600 to buy, pen and ink Wolverine, signed by Neal. So $600. And Andrea is saying that, yes, the Moon of the Wolf is 70s for sure. Okay, for those of you who love Joker, I have a Joker for $700. This is contained in an 8.5 by 11. Yes, somebody was excited in our background. That is Jade doing something back there. $700 for Joker.
Sorry, what was the number on Joker?
700. We have a Batman Who Laughs for $500. Pen and ink Neal, signed by Neal. Batman Who Laughs. I have a Batman for $700. which is and blah, 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 I can't talk anymore. Another signed piece by Neal. Let's see if I can get this out here. This is the Thor piece that matches the Thor print that we showed in our prints. I just wanted to make sure this got out there tonight. This is $800 to buy. And this is Neal's pencil for that Thor print. I will even throw in the Thor print to go with this if somebody buys it tonight. This is it's a finished rough pencil where Neal really is working on the areas of the character that he's got to nail down. The remaining part, even though it is still drawn there, it's not as fully drawn because Neal was secure in what he was doing with the cape and his legs. It was really getting that arm with the Thor hammer down, getting what he wanted to do with Thor's face down, getting the silver discs on Thor's costuming down. And then he was fine with what he was going to do with the cape, what he was going to do with his legs. But this does match that Thor print. This is the prelim pencil for the Thor print. So this shows you how Neal works. He'll draw stuff sometimes fully. There are times where he'll draw the areas which he's figuring stuff out and not draw as heavily the areas he's not worried about. What is important in this drawing, working out the perspective of it. This is about that hammer coming towards camera. Then he'll do it smaller. And then what we do is we blow it up. We make a Xerox. He'll usually yell for Pete. He'll tell Pete, make me a Xerox at, 175, 74, and 73. And then Pete would bring that to him. He would pick which one would work for him. Then he would work on a light box, transfer that pencil onto the paper he's working on, and then ink from there. So Thor pencil, like I said, I will throw the print in with this tonight. It's worth $100 signed. We have, I think, a couple of those left signed. And this is $800 to buy. Okay. I'm going to do this Batman for $1,400. Very nice Batman at a great price. 8.5 by 11. $1,400. Pen and ink Neal. Signed by Neal. And again, these can all go on the payment plan. And if you're watching this after we're off the show, you can always direct message us. A lot of people have been direct messaging. We'll get back to you very quickly usually. Sometimes I'll have to say, I got to wait till I get to work. I don't know if that's still available, or I don't quite remember what a price might be or a size might be. But the next morning when we're back at work, we do answer everybody with the real information that they're looking for. So this is $1,400. This is 8.5 by 11. A really nice Batman, traditional pen and ink Neal of Batman here.
How many freaking Batmans I can't find this one?
It's okay.
Hey, Batmans!
He's so solidly drawn that I think we're okay.
It's just funny. Me trying to find a Batman on this list is sort of like Dad going, hey, get me that Batman drawing. Which one? There's so many.
Okay. We're going to do 2 more pieces of art for tonight because it is the middle of the week. I have a Silver Surfer, 8.5 by Neal. This is my last Silver Surfer. Signed by Neal for $600. Again, these all can be colored. A lot of what we're doing now is actually coloring on another piece of paper. We make a copy. We color the copy so that you get your black and white original, and then you get a color drawing. And the color, of course, would be additional money for that. Whether we color on the original or we color a copy, the amount of money is still the same.
Okay, going down low 69 on Instagram is asking, what kind of payment plans do you take?
Okay, our payment plan works by putting down a third of the price on the original art, and then you can pay off the remaining balance in monthly payments that you can decide what you want to pay. So basically, if you want to pay $100 a month, then you pay $100 a month. We do not ship the art till it is completely paid off, and then it gets shipped out to you. So if you want to get your art quickly, it makes sense to make your payment plan work quickly. But we don't, it's not like you can pay $50 if you have a bad month. But the object of the game is not to abuse our payment plan, because we have to pay bills at continuity as well. But it helps because we know that Neal's stuff is priced, at a higher price. It has allowed a number of people to be able to buy stuff by using the payment plan. And most people do pay off pieces fairly quickly. And a lot of people have bought, 5 or 6 pieces this way. So it does seem to work. So a third is what has to be put down. So a third of 600 would have to be put down to own the Silver Surfer. Okay, and then my last piece for the night is going to be Flash. This is a nice Flash piece at 700 by Neal, pen and ink. It's Neal, sign piece by Neal. And this is an older piece, which actually the box that Neal is drawing in is actually a little bit bigger, because this is drawn on, you can tell, a different style paper. But I personally think this is a great Flash by Neal for 700.
We've shown quite a few Batman pieces, but what you can do is after we are done with this program, you can go back and view through the recording and take a look at the Batman pieces. But we've shown quite a few, so pulling each one out would be a bit time consuming, and we're just about done.
Right. There's a number of Batmans here to pick from. If you want, Friday night, there'll be more Batmans. We usually stay on longer on Friday nights than we do Wednesday night, because it is the middle of the work week. So if you want to see even more Batmans, I would come back on Friday night at 7:30 is when we start on Friday. Like I said, it's a little bit looser because it is the end of the week for us, and we can afford to stay late on Friday night for you guys. But you can watch this over again. You can direct message us, like I just said, direct message any questions you might have. Right, so Sam just went for this Flash piece. These are a bit larger than regular head sketches. I have a few at this format. This is our older format before we started doing the squares like this, so that this is larger in frame. And like I said, Flash is 700, Silver Surfer was 600. So if there is anybody that wants to see something again that they saw, I will gladly pull it out from the art, because I think that's going to be our show for tonight. So I'm just going to hang here for a minute because I know we have a lag. And we will be back on Friday night.
Just going to go to the back wall for a minute.
All right, there's going to show the back wall because we didn't really do the back wall, but we can do the back wall.
There's a few more heads there. There's some CGCs.
Right, we can do CGCs on Friday night. It doesn't look like anybody needs to see anything.
No.
So I think we can just close out the night. So everybody have a great week. It was nice spending time with you guys tonight. And if you can share us for Friday night, that would be great. And Z and I think, are going to say goodnight.
Yep.
All right. So, say goodnight, Z.
Good night, T.
Good night, everybody. Thanks again for coming.
Bye.
Take care and have a good week.